It's starting. Wait a second, not yet. I think now we're live.
We are live. Hey.
So,
welcome to Winephabet Street. I am Lori of Dracena Wines, and my co-host here is Debbie, HV Wine Goddess. And today we are going to be talking about the letter B, and it is going to stand for Beaujolais. But before we get to that, in case you don't know, I and my husband Michael own a small boutique winery in Paso Robles. We are specialists in Cabernet Franc. We are the creators and founders of Cab Franc Day. And we are anxiously awaiting the release of our 15, since we are sold out of our 13 and our 14. We will also be coming out, yay! We will also be coming out with a rosé of a Syrah in March. So 2 wines for this year. Woo! Expanding. Woo. And my co-host,
I'm Debbie Giaquindo. As the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess, I'm a certified specialist of wine and a wine location specialist in port and champagne. And I'm a recently published author of Tapping the Hudson Valley, 1- and 3-day itineraries visiting all the craft breweries or wineries, distilleries, and the sites along the way in the Hudson Valley. So, and I have to apologize if anybody hears my dog howling. I have company, and I'm ousted from my office, and I think they went to watch the sunset over the bay, and I don't think my dog is very happy that everybody left her.
Oh, and I booted
and she doesn't know that I'm here.
Vegas is out of the room, so he's probably lying at the door, but he is being quiet. So.
Oh, well, they took the puppy with them, so she's actually was left behind. It's a half mile. She's too old. She's 12, so she can't make the walk. So.
Right.
Yes. Now I know what goes on when we leave the house.
All right.
She doesn't know that I'm here.
Started.
I'm ready. So.
We're moving our body to the ABC. Dance nearby, dance far away, now clap your hands. To the letter of the day, clap, clap. What's the letter, clap, clap? What's the letter, clap, 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 clap? What's the letter? 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 The letter of the day is B.
All right. So it was muted. See, I need to learn technology before we attempt these things.
Well, every month we're going to get better.
We're going to try. We are going to try.
We will get better every month. Just hang in with us.
All right. So Debbie, you want to start off with the characteristics or
Sure.
Interesting, because last month we did A is for Albarino, which was an actual.
Well, I got the 5 facts and tasty notes. You have the characteristics.
Oh, that's right. Right. I had history, I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
you have histories. Oh, I got the characteristics, which I in turn took as tasty notes. But
no problem.
So why don't we start with let's start with the history.
All right, so it actually makes sense that we start with the history anyway, because like last month we were doing A is for Albarino and it was an actual grape varietal. This month B, and we chose Beaujolais, which is actually not a grape. Okay, so it is not a grape. It is actually a wine region in France. So it's a little different than last month, but Beaujolais is actually a region located just south of Burgundy in France, and it is actually part of the Rhone region of France. It has a very warm growing season, and what happens is because of that warm growing season, those wines tend to be very fruity and light. But the interesting thing is, even though they are light and fruity, some of them really have some great ageability, some of them up to like 15, 16. They even say sometimes 20 years. So it's kind of like a, I don't know if oxymoron is the right word for it, but it's kind of intriguing that they can be light and fruity and then still be aged. As you go north to south, there actually is a very large, well, not large, but there's a difference in temperature north to south. And that difference is significant enough to make the grapes on the vines be different from the north fruit to the south fruit. The other interesting thing about Beaujolais is how it's made. So normally, at least for us, we take the grapes in off of the vine, we bring them to the winery, we crush them, and then we go through fermentation. Beaujolais, which is one of the reasons why it's so light, is that they go through something that is carbonic maceration. And it's a pretty cool process. Carbonic maceration is actually fermentation in the skin. So they take the grapes and they allow this enzymatic fermentation to occur, and it's actually still in the skin itself versus where we crush it to break the fruit, out of the skin itself. And because it's inside, that's another reason why it's not so tannic in structure. It's whole cluster fermentation also. So once they go through this fermentation, then they kind of crush the grapes and they let the free run juice go out. And what I thought was interesting, and I had no clue about this, is that the length of time of the carbonic maceration is actually determined or regulated by what the Beaujolais region is. So if you're going to be drinking the Beaujolais Nouveau, it's only 2 to 3 days. That's why it's so light. That's why it's so fresh and in your, so fresh. Beaujolais is 4 to 6 days. And if you go to the villages, it's 7 to 9 days. And if you go to the cruise, it's actually 8 to 15 days. So depending on, yeah, right?
France has all these funky laws
on
the growing regions and what's allowed, what's not allowed, including what's grown where.
Yeah, they really are strict. United States is nothing compared to what France is like.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, but it's crazy, but it's regulatory. So you can say that's why you say Beaujolais, and you immediately know
what you're getting.
It's a Gamay grape,
right?
It's like when you think France and French wine, you have to think in like another language because you have to equate the region to the grape.
Right. And the label is so different. I remember when we were in the UC Davis winemakers program, we had to learn, they don't really just want you to know California. We have to learn all of the regions. So we were learning about France, and the label, oh my God, it was like a headache trying to look at, for us, producers are like game on, but when you look at a label in the United States, you know who produces that wine. Whereas in France, it's the region that matters. So the region is what's bold and in your face. In fact, my wine, I was like, I don't even really know who makes this. I know the crew and I know this, but I'm actually honestly, we'll talk about later, confused about who the winemaker is for this wine because there's things going on. So maybe you can help me with that.
Okay.
But as we said, Gamay is actually the grape of Beaujolais, and 98% of the plantings in that region are Gamay. So there's not very much out there other than that. It is actually a cross, got to be science geeky about it. It is a cross between Pinot Noir and Gousse Blanc. So
I have that in my slide, so I'm glad you pronounced it because I had no idea how to pronounce it.
I told you, I was like, pronunciation.com is my best friend. So it is known for its thin skins, low tannins, vibrant fruit. And as I said, there is a huge, France has been making wine, and Beaujolais has been making wine for over 2,000 years. I mean, they have been dedicated to wine for 2,000 years. It's that old world versus new world thing, So the Roman rulers back to the 500s and 600s first were established in Beaujolais. So they were actually the first winemakers. And like most of the other French wines, when the railroads came in, that was when it really flourished because now you can get your wine out to someplace else. So you know, when the railroads came in, it was a big, big deal. So quickly looking at the history of Beaujolais, it started with the Romans. The 7th century, Benedictine monks arrived, and they were responsible for cultivating vineyards. Then in the 10th century, Lord of Beaujolais, okay, was ruling the area. So now we know where Beaujolais comes from.
Yeah.
Okay, it's named after the Lord who was reigning in that area. And then 1395, Philippe de Bold, which was the Duke of Burgundy, actually outlawed production of Gamay. He was like, enough, I don't want this, right?
Yeah.
So they were like,
no way, go find another home.
Yeah, you need to go find another home. So the grape, you know, the people moved the grape down south to what is now Beaujolais, and it turned out it was like the best thing going for Gamay because the soils in the Beaujolais region are actually much more appropriate to the Gamay grape. So the Gamay loves it down there, so it actually flourished. So ha 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 to you, Philippe the Bold. Okay?
That's right. Hey, we got the moneymaker down here, down in Beaujolais. Ha ha, you Burgundy. You're missing out.
And then the Lion metropolis was when the wine prices increased due to those taxes in France. And the people from Lion decided to buy wines in different regions, and they found Beaujolais, and that was it. They fell in love. Next big thing for the grape region was the 19th century. That's when the train expanded through France, which opened up the channels to Paris. So the fruit could actually be, or the wine can actually be transported. 1951, big date for Beaujolais. That was actually when Beaujolais Nouveau was created, and the Union Interprofessionnel des Vins de Beaujolais, which is UVIB, they actually set the date for Beaujolais Nouveau Day to be November 15th. So it is always that date.
The week before Thanksgiving.
The week before Thanksgiving. And then in
isn't it like the second or third Thursday?
Well, right, that didn't happen. So in 1985, the Institute for Appellations d'Origine then said, you know what, we don't want it to just be November 15th. We're going to make it the third Thursday of November. So that is now the actual release day for Beaujolais Nouveau. And then pretty much since then, 1/3 of total production of the region has been Beaujolais Nouveau. So that is a big portion of what goes on there. Big time into the appellations and everything in Beaujolais, as in everything with France, there are 10 crus. And those are, like I said, those are the big wigs. Can
I put up your slide for the 10 crus?
Yes, the 10 crus. So we have a slideshow. There we go. So we have the appellations. Thank you. We have the appellations, which there's the 12 AOCs. There are 38 villages. And then there are only 10 crus. And I'm going to go through the crus north to south. So can I click this next slide, or do you have to do that?
You should be able to. You should be able to.
Okay, beautiful.
Woohoo. It works.
So this is a wine map of the Beaujolais, the crus, the villages, and then just the regular. And we're going to go through them north to south. So the most north is Saint-Amour. And these wines, if you're looking for light, easy drinking, soft red fruit wines, this is the region for you. Just south of that is JULIENAS, which they're known for the charming wines, the fruit with just enough tannins. Next up is CHENAS, which actually is the rarest cru. So very little bit of wine from CHENAS actually gets exported to the US. So if you can find it, kudos to you. It's apparently very, very difficult to find. And And
And
they,
you know what? It was a favorite of Louis the Eighth or the 13th.
oh,
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. This is all new stuff to me, you know. But I've never even seen a label with that name on it. But
No, I haven't either.
now I'm gonna have to start keeping an eye out for it. These wines are high in minerality, and they're known to develop with age. So they're ones that you're gonna want to, I guess, lie down for a bit. Next is Moulin-A-VENT. And these wines are big in body. They are known to be the most Burgundian-like wines, full body, complex flavors, and they have excellent ageability. Next
Nice
is
picture.
Fleury, isn't it? It's pretty. That's
Yeah.
from Decanter, Wine Mag. Fleury, which reminded me as soon as I saw this, and I don't know if it has anything to do with it or not, but it reminded me of Harry Potter. That was the girlfriend's name from the other in Goblet of Fire when those girls came in. Her name was Fleury. She was supposed to be like a flower and stuff. So, and I'm blanking on her name, whatever. She was known to pull real things into her writing. So I'm curious if that is a connection or not. And true to the name, these wines are the most aromatic and the most floral Beaujolais wines. And it was named after the Roman legionnaire Florus. So these are the delicate wines. They're very subtle. And I couldn't find anything yes or no, but I'm thinking a little less ageability on these just by, you know, how they are. Next up is...
my notes say that it will age pretty well.
Doesn't say
for how long. Yeah, Fleury, yeah.
Okay. I was going on a guess because all I kept reading about was how light they are and how floral they are. So I took
floral and fruity, yep.
Next is CHEROUBLES, which if I didn't listen to pronunciate this, I would have never gotten it from that. This is known as the Gateway Cru. So this is the lightest bodied cru there is. It's actually the highest elevation and the coolest temperature, obviously, if it's the highest elevation.
That's interesting.
And then we have Morgon, which is where my wine is from. And this is known for their power and structure. It's very, very serious when it's young. It's known to be able to age for years. This is like a big major league hitter for the crus. This is a big guy. And it becomes more Burgundian as it ages. So if you like the Burgundian aspect of it, you want to let these guys sit a bit. After Morgon is REGNIE. And this is the youngest.
That's where my wine's from.
Woo! This is actually the youngest cru. It only became an actual cru in 1988 when it graduated from being a village. So I wonder if they celebrate. Do they go through like a celebration when they become a cru? Like, you know,
I would think so, because that's pretty huge. I mean, for them.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Next to last is COTE de BROUILLY. And this is kind of a combination, a blend of its big brother, I guess, Brouilly and Morgon. So, and the cool thing about this is it's actually on an ancient volcano. So it's very ripe wines. It's a serious wine. I want to look for one from here. I've seen these labels, but I want to try that because I like volcanic wines. So I'm going to give this one a shot.
Yeah, I do too.
And the last one is Brouilly, which is known to be the open and welcoming cru. And it is the largest cru. So you're going to be able to find the most wines exported by this cru. and it can be enjoyed very early on, but it can age. And it is it's the largest cru, so it's the largest volume. So we're going to see the most labels back here in the United States. And that is my history.
Very good. That was really nice. And it's, it's when you look at crus and villages and then there's Beaujolais, it kind of like you just don't know. It's like, what does it mean?
Right. All right, how do we get rid of this slideshow?
I'll stop the slideshow. Stop.
There we go. All right.
There we go.
Yeah. So it was actually really, I was glad we chose this because I really didn't know any of this stuff. So it was kind of cool, to learn about the crus and the differences, and those differences carry on over into what you pair with them, which I'll talk about later.
Right. And when I was in France last month, and I was in Burgundy, and we went all the way down to right where Burgundy ends and Beaujolais starts. And that's where the limestone ends and the granite starts, because Beaujolais is grown on granite and Burgundy is grown on limestone.
Yeah, which makes
it was pretty cool. And knowing this is what we were doing, I'm like, well, can I go across the street? Can I go talk to someone across the street? That's like, really literally where we were. Like, and to be honest with you, when you go wine tasting, sometimes they're not as good as you think they're going to be. And this particular place that we were at wasn't as good as expected for me. And I was like, I'm just going to go across the street, find the Burgundy guy and, talk to him for a little bit, but I couldn't do that,
You could bring a little shovel and do the soil samples from this side of the street and that side of the,
Well, I had, what I found when I was in France, that the internet didn't really work when you were out, because I have a Soil Web is an app, and you bring it up on your phone and it'll tell you what you're standing on.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
Yeah, Soil Web.
You're going to have to share that.
I brought it up everywhere I was, and there was like the internet. There was like no internet. Like in Paris was fine, no problem. But out in the country, unless you're like in the hotel, there was like no freaking internet.
Right.
You can't get a taxi and there's no Uber. So that's a story for another time.
When Mike and I, we biked Pikes Peak in Colorado, and being the science geeky people that we are, we're biking it, and we kept stopping because as you were biking, the rock structures, you're doing all these S curves back and forth. And as you're going down the peak or up the peak, the rock structures are changing. So you're going through different, different climate, really. We started off with like jackets freezing, and we ended up in shorts and tank tops and everything, down below. But you can see the structures, the rock formations changing, and the trees that were growing were different as you went up because of the climate and because you were in a different, it was pretty cool. So that would be, and that would be cool.
Yeah. I gotta get that download the app, Soil Web. I love it. I'll stand somewhere and I'll do it. It's like, wow. And here I am, and in Burgundy, it's like no freaking internet. It's like, come on. Here I am at Roman Conte's vineyards, and I can't even see what the structure is.
Oh,
I was like so bummed. Anyway, so let's see. Should I move on to
characteristics?
To mine characteristics. Okay. So I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint, but I'm going to start it. But we're going to have to go past this one because we haven't gotten there yet. Oh, next.
There you go.
There we go. So Beaujolais has different kinds of fruit notes, and I'm just going to give you an overall in the slide presentation. Then I'll talk about like each region and what you can expect. Some of it you covered too, Lori, but so in Beaujolais, in the Gamay grape that is grown in Beaujolais, you're going to get some notes of strawberry, blackberry, raspberry, some cherry, and maybe even a hint of peach. And you're going to get some spice notes too, as vanilla, cinnamon, white pepper. And then you're going to get some florals, floral notes of peonies, violets, lilies, roses, and irises.
It's really very complex if you think about it. They really
It's extremely complex, the characteristics. And then you'll also get notes of eucalyptus, leather, and smoke. It is a very complex grape, and the complexity really depends on where it's grown.
Right.
Because like in Bruiully, you have deep aromas. It's going to be fruitier, more red berries, plums, and mineral notes. In the CHENAS, and you have better pronunciation than I do of these places, so feel free to correct me. You're going to have floral aromas. It's going to be fuller flavored, more body. You're going to get a little spice with it. And actually, it produces the rarest of the Beaujolais crus. And then you have CHIROUBLES. And there you have floral aromas of violets, iris, lily of the valley. You're going to get some peonies, and you're going to get red fruits. In the COTE de Bruiully, it's going to be elegant and meatier, aromas of iris, grape, and some spice, minerals. Here the soil is granite, schist, and blue stones, so that's going to reflect in the wine itself. In Fleury, you're going to get a more elegant wine, silky, deep red in color, floral, fruity aromas of iris, violets, roses, red fruit, and you might even taste a little bit of vine peach, blackcurrant, and red fruits. And this soil is actually pinkish granite.
Oh.
So what I've learned, though, too, in my research of the different characteristics is there's blue granite, there's pink granite, all within the Beaujolais region. So it really depends on, once again, where it's grown and the characteristics that come out in the wine. It's not like you buy a Cabernet and you kind of know what the characteristics are, general characteristics. In Beaujolais, the Gamay it's complex depending on where it's grown, because the different regions, the crus, the Beaujolais, the villages, all have different characteristics.
That's kind of similar. I mean, you're going to look at a cab of Napa versus a cab of Paso, and it's different. The vines like to take on, that's terroir, right? And these guys are close in proximity. There's a difference in what their structure is in the soil.
Right. So it's Beaujolais is very, very complex. JULIENAS, you're going to get a deep, earthy, ruby red, strawberry, violet, cinnamon, red currant, peonies aroma. It's going to be a powerful wine with some vanilla and spice. Morgan will be full-bodied, meaty, ripe. You might get a little peach, a little apricot, maybe some plum aromas as well. The soil here is rich in iron oxide and volcanic rock, and it's also the second largest cru. The soil is clay, granite, bluestone, schist, and volcanic rock. MOULIN-A-VENT is actually the highest rated cru. It's ruby to dark granite with floral and fruity aromas, complex, if not, I think all these wines are complex. Deep garnet in color. The soil here is rich in iron oxide and volcano rock. Oh, wait a second, that's Morgan. I was on MOULIN-A-VENT, which is the highest rated cru. Ruby, dark garnet, floral, fruity aromas, complex. You'll get some young violet and cherry. As it ages, just like everything else. It evolves. You'll get some iris, spice, ripe fruit will develop. And the older, as it ages and gets really, as it's showing its age, you'll get more truffle aromas. Here, the soil is pink granite. And then you have REGNIE, which is raspberry, red currant, blackberry aromas. And then Saint Amour, you'll get fruity and floral aromas, mostly of red fruit. You might get a little bit of peach in it. You'll get some peonies, maybe a little bit of spice. There's two actually different styles here. You'll get the first style is best to drink within the first 12 months after harvest. And then the bolder ones, the bolder wines will have aromas of kirsch and spice, and they're the best after 4 to 5 years of aging. So, and what I found was really interesting here with Saint Amour, 20 to 25% of their sales occur in February because they have a label featuring Cupid for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. It's labels sell. Labels sell.
Yeah, oh, I know that. I think Beaujolais, the Gamay grape, it just shows you how complex the Gamay grape is. I never realized how complex it was, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not one you see here. You don't see it. You don't see it here in the United States very frequently at all.
Well, it's actually grown in the Hudson Valley and in the Finger Lakes.
And is it as a varietal, as a single varietal?
Michael at Winephabet grows Gamay on it's estate grown, and Sheldrake Point in the Finger Lakes grows Gamay.
Oh, okay. To actually have as a varietal?
Yeah, Gamay grape. Yeah, and they sell it as Gamay.
Oh, as a.
I actually have some, but
Oh.
It's actually when I compare it to what I have in my bottle here, it's a little bit more complex, a little bit more heavier, where what I'm drinking, which we'll get to, is a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Kind of like fruitier, fun, whereas, the other one might be a little bit more heavy, a little bit more serious, the New York one. But that's my personal opinion. So
right, cooler temperature, different.
Yeah, so.
All right.
So moving right along.
Oh, did I miss one? Did you miss one?
No, we have the food pairings, but we can do that after.
Okay. So
what are you drinking? Show me.
This is what I am drinking tonight.
Very nice.
So, and we purchased it. We were in Total Wine, and I think it was $13.99, maybe $14.99. So not expensive at all. I was looking for a cru. I didn't want to do the Village. I figured might as well go for the cru. And we bought it because of the bird. We're like, oh, there's a bird.
Bought on a label. You bought on a label.
I bought on a label. I recognize, I was pulling out the cruise on my phone to see what it was, and Morgon was a heavy hitter, so I figured we were safe with that. What's interesting, though, is in hindsight, what is known for Morgon, like you were saying, the meatiness and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have picked that because, I don't really like meatiness. I do love Syrah though, but I probably would have gone with a different one if I had actually read prior to picking up the bottle, the descriptions of what the fruits were. Really the one that sounds most appealing to me, I'm never going to get. And that's the REGNIE, the raspberry.
And that's what I got.
Oh, you got that one. Yeah, that's the one that sounds most appealing to me. There you go.
I got the REGNIE.
So now this is why I'm confused. This is why I am confused because right here, let me see, does it work? Right here it says Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude.
Right, de Blanc. Okay.
Right.
So to me, that's the winemaker or the winery. However, when you go online and you look it up, it says George Duboeuf.
Oh, so George Duboeuf makes it.
Yes. So I have no clue who this Jean-Claude Dubain is. So if anybody out there can explain this to me, I would appreciate it, because on this label, George Duboeuf is nowhere. Nowhere on this. On the back, here's my back label. Okay. It's given claim to Jean-Claude over here.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you my wine. It says Julien Seigneur.
Okay. That's pretty big for a French label.
Okay. So he's an artesian producer who just recently came into the, producing wine. He makes wines from 3 areas, Rene and Fleury.
Okay.
And that's really all I could find on him.
Yeah,
now I'm going to tell you.
Difficult.
So I went out to the liquor store, and I'm in Cape May right now. So I went out to the liquor store in Cape May to find a Beaujolais. And I went up to Joe Canals in Rio Grande, and they had like 3 Bordeaux, a couple of Burgundies, no Beaujolais.
That's surprising because
So I'm like, all right, so I'm dead serious. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to be in the Hudson Valley over, this week. I was there last week. So I was like, no problem. Worst comes to worst, I'm going to go to Viscount and get one because they've got everything. It's like Viscount's like your Total Wine.
Okay.
So I'm like, but wait a second. I know I saw a Beaujolais in my wine cellar when I was reorganizing something. So I went to my wine cellar and I went and I looked and I found the Beaujolais. I belong to a wine club that is just Burgundy and Champagne, and that's who I went to Burgundy with. And they must have thrown in a Beaujolais, and I pulled it out. I'm like, all right, I'm saved. And this Beaujolais is $25.
Oh.
So it's a little bit more on the spectrum, a little bit higher priced. But the crus are very, very good values for what's in the bottle.
Yeah,
I think this is a little bit more. This is a little bit more on a higher price than if I was going to the liquor store. I probably would have bought one, probably $15, $20.
Which is what we.
But I did talk about for next month. I got my wine for next month too.
So did I.
Because I was in New York and I went to the liquor store.
So what are you getting in your glass?
Well, I'll tell you, I chilled mine. I stuck my wine bottle in the fridge at 6 o'clock. So it got, just a slight chill, because they say Gamay is really good with a slight chill. So I did that. And
I did the same thing. When did you pull it out?
I pulled it out at 7:30.
Okay, so
I was in there for like an hour and a half.
Okay, so I pulled mine out at 4 o'clock here. So it was out for an hour, and in our 105 degree temperature, I think it warmed up a bit too quickly. I probably should have pulled it out a little bit earlier, a little bit later. But what I wanted to do was, after I read about Morgon and how big it was, let me give it some air before I taste it. So I pulled it out an hour before we sat down.
So when I first tasted mine, and here's it in the wine glass, very red raspberry. But now I get more of the blackberry, and there's spice on the finish, and there's still a slight chill in it. It's not,
Yeah. Well, mine doesn't have a chill anymore. Here's mine in a glass. Okay. That's pretty darn deep. Look at that color.
Yeah, that is. See, mine's lighter. If I look.
It was side by side. Oh, significantly. Yeah. That is lighter. You have more
Really
translucence
bold.
on the edges also.
Mine's more, yeah.
Mine is deep purple throughout.
Yeah, mine's much lighter.
Yeah. I'm getting cassis, I'm getting plum and violet, which, yeah, I love violet in wine. So that's the Cab Franc lover in me. I love the violet.
Yeah.
But on the palate, it's definitely a black dark fruit. Black. I have a black cherry, not blackberry, black cherry. But it is fruity. It is. I'll give them that. It is fruity, and it does have a some smoke on it, some meatiness on the palate,
Okay.
like gamey, like a gamey thing, which is not really my favorite, but
Mine has nice spice on the finish. Like I said, when I first started, when it had more of a chill on it, red raspberry really shined through. But as it warmed, the blackberry, yeah, the black fruit shows. But I'll tell you, I was never really a big Beaujolais fan, and I'm really liking this. And I like it with the slight chill. And when I say chill, you don't put it in the fridge for 3 days. It's something you put in just to take the chill, just to put the chill on, and then you take it out. And it's really delightful. It's great for the summertime.
Yeah. I wouldn't kick it to the curb. I wouldn't kick it to the curb. I would definitely drink it. The value, $13.99. It's awesome. Yeah. It is a cool day here in Fresno today, and it's only 102. So it's good, it's tough to have a big bold wine when it's this warm. So agree. It was nice with a little chill. Like I said, it's warmed up by now, but it was nice that way. And it's definitely drinkable. I have no issues with it. Definitely no faults, anything like that. And I like the dark fruit in it. It never, even when it was chilled, I didn't have a red fruit in mine. Mine was always a dark fruit. But so I'm going to go on to the food pairing. Can you bring up?
Okay, I have to say, I'm really, I can really remiss here because I just went into the chat room and I saw that Kathy Wildman is in there, and I completely forgot to bring the chat room up on my screen. So Kathy, thanks for coming by.
Oh, hi.
I was sitting here so caught up with everything, and yes, thank you for stopping by,
Kathy,
and saying hi.
Both of us were bad,
that is great.
hosts and didn't pull up the chat. Thanks, Kathy, for joining. What's in your glass?
Yeah, I'm a poor host. I completely forgot. I was so, we were struggling at the very beginning trying to get the PowerPoints up there that I never moved my mouse over to anything else. So thanks, Kathy.
We're such bad hosts.
And anybody else, feel free now to come on into the chat.
And I feel so bad, but we'll talk to her later.
Yes.
With the food pairing with the Beaujolais, let's see. Do I have that slide up there?
You.
All right. So the food pairing, you've got to think nice and light because the wine is lighter. But it is a very broad spectrum wine, so it does pair with a lot of different things like this slide shows. It goes with beef, with roast chicken, quiche, which I can totally see it going with quiche. I'm like drooling over that concept. Pork chops, grilled fish, summer salads, I bet it, a whole bunch of cheeses. But with the cruise being so foods pair with
Lori, I lost you. You there?
You lost me. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you kind of broke up there on your
Am I back?
voice. Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Keep going.
So Brouilly pairs with roasted wild game, meat dishes. CHENAS pairs with like a bolognese, meat sauces and rather mature cheeses. CHIROUBLES pairs with pork for the best part, and appetizers. Cote de Brouilly pairs with, again, roasted pork and stews. So a bigger, meatier type thing. Fleury pairs with pâtés, white meats, creamy appetizers. So again, you've got those floral essences. You don't want to overpower them with a major big food product. Juliennas pairs with coq au vin and other chicken dishes. Morgon is back to being very much like Cote de Brouilly, where it's the stews, wild game. MOULIN-A-VENT is pairs with roasted red meats. They recommended wild game for that. That was the big pairing. REGNIE, so what you have, and you can tell me what you think about it. Again, they're saying it's lighter, so it's going to go with the pâtés, the white meats, and creamy appetizers. Do you get that? Or, and then Saint-Amour. Would you agree with that?
Creamy appetizers? I don't know, but we'll see.
And then the last one is Saint-Amour, which is, okay, I'm going to stay away from this cruise simply because of what you want to pair with it. They recommend organ meats to pair.
I have to tell you, when I was in France, there was one dinner we went to was an organ meat, and I had to yeah, I draw the line there.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I'm pretty adventurous, but not that adventurous.
Oh, no. I'm not adventurous in my food at all, so no.
Oh, I am, but
no, I'm very. I'm give me pasta and butter sauce, and I'm the happiest person on the face of the earth. I think my favorite meal other than pizza is I take pasta, I put butter in it, and then I take Cholula sauce, the hot sauce, and that's what I mix that with the butter.
My goodness.
And that's what I eat. That's my happy place right there. Organ meats? No, I'd be running out.
Yeah. I'm running in the other direction with you.
Yeah.
I'm running in the other direction with you.
So, tell me, what do we got? Fast facts.
Fast facts. Hold on. Let me go to my PowerPoint here. That. So it was really hard to come up with 5 fast facts because there was just so much on Beaujolais that I had taken notes on. But 5 fast facts about Beaujolais is Beaujolais is made with the Gamay grape. There's 10 crus of Beaujolais, and they only produce red wine. Beaujolais Nouveau is released the 3rd Thursday in November. It's the first release of the year's vintage. Gamay Noir is a cross between Pinot Noir and, you say it best, Lori.
See, now I'm not going to pronounce it. I got to go back to my notes. Gousse Blanc.
There you go.
Blanc.
And there is white wine produced in Beaujolais as well, and it's Beaujolais Blanc, and it's actually made with the Chardonnay grapes. And to enlighten you further on all that, the Beaujolais, there's also a Beaujolais Rosé.
Yes.
And the Beaujolais Rosé and Beaujolais Blanc is only made in the villages and the Beaujolais only. And the Beaujolais Blanc represents 10% of the region's wines.
Right. Now, now I have to remember, I thought that I saw that there were 2 crus that allowed different grapes into the Beaujolais. It still is a red. It still is because it's got to be 85%. These two.
Oh, is that kind of like the Syrah in where they can put the oh my God, Roussanne and Marseille in?
Oh, okay.
In the Rhone, in the Northern Rhone.
Oh, all right. Yeah, see, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't find that. That's interesting. Now I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna find out about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are 5 fast facts on Beaujolais.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It would have been tough to pull out 5 facts because there is just so much going on in this region between,
Oh my gosh,
villages, the Beaujolais Nouveau, all of that stuff. There is so much stuff.
Yeah. And even just like the information that I found just in my research, it's all manual harvested.
Yes.
All the Beaujolais, there's no machine harvested.
And some of those slopes are steep.
Yep.
I mean, I was reading that they tie them, they have to tie them so that they don't fall off the cliff, as they're harvested.
Oh, wow.
Well, I would love to see that. But see, now that I would do. I'm adventurous in life. I'm just not adventurous in food. So. No.
I'm somewhat adventurous in food.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in Burgundy, I had a pigeon squab. Yeah. Twice it was served, and the second time I just had 2 bites, and I just kind of gave it to my husband and said, "I can't do this."
Yeah. See, that's the I'm so non-adventurous.
I would have been all right. You could have told me it was chicken, but it had the claws like that, served. Yeah.
I'm so non-adventurous. It's so bad because, we could go to all these wine dinners, in Paso. Like Niner has amazing wine dinners. Four Lanterns has these dinners. All these wineries have these dinners. And I'm like, yay, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then you look at the menu and there's not a single thing. I don't do seafood. I don't do cephalopods. I don't do crustaceans. I don't do beef. I don't do veal.
Well, you wouldn't have been able to eat at my house tonight because we bought crabs as appetizers, and then we had flank steak, and we had grilled summer squash and roasted summer squash, and
that's good. That's good.
Okay, summer squash and red peppers. Yeah. Salad. I took the rest of my garden salad from the garden. That got rid of the rest of my lettuce.
Yeah.
So
see, that's what I tell people when I go to dinner at their houses. I'm like, if you have a salad, I'm good. Don't go crazy over me. I don't want cook whatever you want to cook.
Yeah.
Just have a salad or some sort of vegetable for me. I just can't do it.
I have to tell you, this wine is really evolving nicely. I'm getting some nice white pepper on the finish. Yeah, I'm really liking this.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah. I wouldn't turn
tonight. It's going to be me and my Beaujolais.
Mike will come home and he will share in mine. So let's talk about next month.
Next month, it's all about Carmenere.
Yay!
And
because the letter of
that's going to be really cool. And I've got my Carmenere already.
I do.
And I hope you don't have the same one.
I can't even tell you what I have. Once again, I bought it. I'm taking this series to go explore. I am not.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to go with anything that I am familiar with. I want to try different things. We have 3 Carmeneres in our wine cellar from wineries that we frequent, and I told Mike I don't want that. I want to go out and buy something I don't have, you know. So we went out, and once again, I bought by the label. It's like this.
I did too.
It's like this little guy, this big. He looks like he's in prison. He's got stripes on his shirt. I don't know if he's in prison or not. But it was
okay. So it's not the same as mine.
Okay.
Mine's
so
got mine. I bought on label too. I bought on the label too.
That's how I'm doing this entire series. I'm buying on the label, just whatever.
Buying on the label. Yeah.
Buying on the label. So
buying on the label. But I'm going to put the link here to register for next month.
Yes, please do. This is what
Carmenere. And it is going to be on, I'll tell you the date, August 21st, Monday night, August 21st, 8 p.m. We're going to keep Winephabet Street on Mondays at 8. So I think it's a good time. Hopefully I won't have company again, and I'll be able to be in my office.
And I want to thank everybody who joined. And I believe we are streaming to your YouTube. Yes?
Yeah, it'll be on my YouTube, and then you'll download it, and it'll be on your YouTube as well.
And then I will have the podcast up in a couple of days so we can listen if anybody just wants to listen to what we're talking about.
And I'll eventually get the podcast up. I still haven't gotten to the Albarino podcast yet. There's too much going on right now. But, you know.
It's summer vacation for me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I
certain hours of the day.
Because, you know, we only have the one car out here because I need my car at home in Jersey.
Right.
So if I want a vehicle for the day, that means I need to wake up early, drive Mike to work, come back, and then go again, and it's really not worth it. So, and I don't really know where to go in Fresno anyway, so I pretty much just hang out here. But so I'm a little more up to date on that, you know, of setting things up because of that. But I'm just happy not to be in school anymore. Just summer break. I think teachers need it more than kids. I'm serious. But
yeah, they probably do.
Yeah.
So, well, thank everybody for coming. Kathy, I'm sorry I didn't log into the chat earlier.
We ignored you.
But next month will be better. You know, just, you know, grow with us as we get used to technology here, and, you know, and as our program evolves.
Yeah. So thank you for joining. Debbie, are you going to put us off?
Yep. And we will see you guys all next month for Carmenere.
August 21st. See you then.
Yep. Bye-bye.